Thanks for staying with us. So we'll just circle back now to the Russia-Ukraine war, where Russia has continued its assault on Ukraine by firing over 30 drones and more than 30 cruise missiles, part of an escalating bombing campaign in the over 3 years long war. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky confirmed the overnight attack in a post on X. In Odesa, one person was killed and a fire broke out in a high-rise after more than 20 drones and a missile struck the port city. Officials say 5 people were rescued, while 6 others, including a child, were injured. The northeastern Sumy region also reported damage to critical infrastructure. President Zelensky thanked international allies for supporting Ukraine's defense, including joint weapons production and air defense systems. All right, well, let's bring in, we just want to explore more on this as we're bringing now a global affairs analyst, Kunle Falowo. He joins me from the US virtually. Good to have you join us, Kunle.
Thanks for having me.
So we see a barrage of missiles fired from Russia on Ukraine. One would have imagined that by now, from the promise that President Trump made whilst he took office, even while he was campaigning, he said he was going to end this war in a day, that by now we will be heading towards a peace pact. But that doesn't seem to be the case. What do you think is going on at this moment? Why both parties have not been able to reach a truce?
Great question. Thanks for having me. So this is very interesting. As far as international politics and particularly in Europe, and as it comes to like when we're looking at it in terms of United States and foreign relations, we must understand that different countries would want to tread cautiously when it comes to dealing with Russia, particularly because of the man in the helms of affairs. Vladimir Putin is a very strong man who pretty much has been set in his ways, and regarding President Donald Trump and his current administration, especially the GOP and the Republican Party, the way they're choosing to relate and to interact with President Putin, uh, they're trying to do something entirely different. Um, Understanding the fact that uh, Russia is a powerhouse and is a very formidable country, so um, they're also, threading very cautiously and trying to kind of see if they could, see themselves eyeball to eyeball and come to terms in some areas, and and um, and that's part of the reason they try to be very diplomatic in such a way that they wouldn't really, um, uh, you know, they wouldn't really do anything that would affect the interest of Russia, and that's why if you go back a little bit, you would see the chaos and the disagreement that happened when Ukrainian president went to see President Trump in the White House, and that was internationally a lot of people say it's disgraceful, because it seemed at that point that President Trump was backing the Russian aggression and Russian president. But come 2 months after, we're also seeing that there seems to be another tone in you know in the White House generally, and we're seeing that things are starting to take a twist, and things are starting to look very awkward now. So we might see some new policy changes in the near future.
So now that Russia has intensified its attack on Ukraine, is this so they can have more leverage for the peace talk, or President Putin just doesn't want the war to end?
As it appears, the United States has been trying to broker a peace deal, and to be clear, that's another potential win for President Trump, because he ran on some of these policies. He had promised, like you mentioned earlier, that he would put a stop to the war in a day or so. So everybody, especially the Republican Party, is trying as much as they can to show to the world that they have the magical wand to automatically end the war. But um, diplomacy has not been working, unfortunately. Vladimir Putin, as everybody's aware, has been trying to pretty much play on the intelligence of President Trump, and um, it's clearly seen. President Trump is starting to see that um, Mr. Putin is not really interested in ending the war anytime soon, and with that, he is starting to sing another tone, and is starting to see that there might be some stringent measures that needs to be put in place to um, technically force his hands back to the table to negotiate a better peace deal that will guarantee a forceful cessation of hostilities against Ukraine.
And we see that the EU has also just now okayed 18 sanctions package on Russia over this war. We'll see whether that deters them in terms of coming to the table to negotiate. Thank you so much for your time, as always. Global Affairs Analyst
Absolutely.
Kunle Falowo.
Thank you.